So, and this one's going to be about clearer communication. So, how to learn how to communicate on a clearer basis and how to just communicate so that everything is understood by quite everyone. If this is even possible, but you get what I mean. Leading by example, right? See you after the intro. Well, yeah, it is actually also something that I'm struggling with, to really be honest. Like, I kind of tend to communicate in not such a clear way, which is definitely one of the things that I should be progressing in, I guess. And I also think that those people that are actually great writers have an advantage over me, because I am not such a great writer. I guess, at least. I'm not quite sure about that, since I've always been bad in school at writing texts, especially in terms of my not grammar skills, but my spelling skills. They're just so incredibly shitty. Like, it is insane. Like, I can't fucking spell anything. I might be having just some sort of a disability there, but I'm not quite sure about that. I haven't checked that, and I think I also won't check it up. And like, a lot of people are just saying to me, like, you should just fix that, you should be working on that and whatnot. And I kind of feel like, nah, it's not really necessary for what I'm trying to do and what I'm willing to do, because like, there's going to be people that just know that shit. There's going to be people that really are good at spelling and grammatics and writing and whatnot. But most often, those people that are good at writing are also good at communicating things in a clear way. Which is something that's not always happening to me, which is not always something that I'm able to do, but, we are all progressing. But this is going to be what we are going to talk about today. And I think afterwards, since it is actually not such a long article, I think we're also going to go through something else, probably some Reddit questions, so that we both get a lot of value there, and to maximize that, which is what I'm willing to do. In the description and or in the show notes, wherever you are, there should be every link that you are in need of. And if there's something that you are in need of and it is not in the description or in the show notes, then please hit me up on any social media site, because I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna answer to your question as fast as I possibly can, which is, I don't know, it's probably gonna take me like an hour or something, maybe even more. It depends on the day, and it also depends on the time of the day. For example, when I'm sleeping, then I'm probably not gonna reply in an hour. Well, it depends, it really depends. So as you can see on the, not really left side of the screen, but now left side of the screen, we're going through another ideas.ted.com article, which is, like, I think it is a really great site. It is a really great site, and I'm also trusting in it, which is not always the case, which is also something that I'm looking forward to. Like, I'm not trying to review something basically and talk about something that I'm not quite sure of if it is the truth, or I'm not gonna review something that I'm not really sure about or I do not really believe in. I think it's more about believing in it, because, I don't know, maybe it's just because of the brand of TED that I'm believing in it, but it might be because of something else as well. But I'm not quite sure about it. So, science, the science section, How to Explain Anything to Anyone, 4 Steps to Clearer Communication by Jake Amorelli from November the 27th of 2019. So it's actually today's article. For or from or by, whatever, the ideas.ted.com website, and the article is going to be down in the description if you want to read through it as well. And I've beforehand actually went through the article just a little tiny bit, I've been searching for those bits, those certain things that I'm looking for, so that we're not wasting our time, and I'm basically not wasting your time. But yeah, so the first point is start off in the right place. So everyone's got a different background, and it is not good leaving a gap and starting from there, because they're not going to follow along, which is something to really be clear of and to really think about, because not everyone has the knowledge you are having, and not everyone knows as much as you might be knowing. Maybe some other people just know more than you, and therefore they just know that you're just talking about shit and they know better, which could also totally be the case, but they're talking about having a gap and having someone in the audience that doesn't really know what you're talking about just because they don't have the basis knowledge, like the things you're just building on. Basically, if you're building on something, unless you're actually able to just give to the people this kind of basis of knowledge, this kind of fundamental of knowledge, so that they also can understand those a little bit higher ideas or higher thoughts or higher things. You have to make your best guess, and a show of hands can be useful too, says Wellyman actually. And I think he's actually a children's book author, but I'm not quite. William has made this a specialty. He writes children's books and makes YouTube videos about quantum physics, nanotechnology, relativity, rocket science, and other traditionally dense topics. I think that he knows what he's talking about then. Huh? So a show of hands could also be very useful, as he states, and he says, and I think, yeah, why wouldn't you just be working with the audience rather than just working on your own, basically, or let the audience work on their own? And I really think that also this, in general, a really good way to incorporate the people and to also just manage and... Well, it also depends on what speech it is, whether it is a keynote, whether it is like a presentation for something else, or whether you are in school. And I really believe that in school it is actually a pretty great way to just get the attention. Because in school, it's often going to be the problem that not everyone's listening, not everyone's giving a fuck about whatever you're talking about, which is nothing bad, I think, and which is also nothing that you cannot assume or can not assume, because not everyone's just going to be interested in what you're going to talk about. It is just what it is. Like, it is something to deal with. And I think every teacher also has to deal with that. And I really think that just having something like some sort of participation from the audience, from the people that you're trying to talk to, is a pretty good thing, because then they just wake up. They wake up and they then are, they're just gonna wake up, period. Don't worry too much about whether you're telling the audience something they have already heard before. People generally don't mind, says Willyman. And to just show you where it is, I am not quite sure about it, to really be honest, because, if you're having a speaker, then, and he's talking or she's talking about the exact same thing that you already know, then it's not going to be something too interesting. It's probably going to be interesting to see if there are some nuances that are different, because, I don't know, unless you have just got the exact same source, whether it be a person or whether it be like a book or whatever, I don't know, like just there has to be some nuances, there has to be some differences, there has to be some really slight differences, and maybe these are going to be interesting. But as I'm thinking about it, I don't know. I would actually consider it not being that interesting, because I already know it, and therefore there's no reason why I'm there, especially when I'm having to pay for it. Then of course it's maybe even going to piss me off, just because I already know what he and or she is talking about. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. What do you think about it? Let me know. The second point is, don't get too far down the rabbit hole. Most of us love to learn, which is, I think, something that's totally right. And I guess the best way to learn is by learning while you're actually having fun. Complicated structure there, but I really think so. And I think it is also kind of a just recipe for having great YouTube videos. If you're able to provide value in terms of knowledge and fun and entertainment and whatsoever, then it's just going to be good. It's just going to be great, and people are going to be listening, at least in my point of view. I guess it is actually one of the best combinations you can have, one of the best combinations you can have to get a lot of attention, to get a lot of just viewers and people that are also going to stick with your thing. Because if it is fun and you're learning something, like, it is a win-win. Actually, it's a double win for one person. And it's also going to be good for you because you also get something in return. And he also says, it's better to explain, say, 3 things that someone will understand rather than barrage them with a whole load of information that kind of undoes all of your good work to begin with. Wellyman says. And I would say so as well. And I think one of the best examples is one of the latest books that we went through, which is Super Thinking by... I don't remember. And there's been just such a lot of information. There's just such a lot of knowledge in the whole book. And it's just been really amazing. Like, even though it's been a book summary, there's just a lot of knowledge in this book summary. But it's like every single sentence was made out of just additional knowledge. So in the end, I at least, I wasn't able to understand anything because I didn't have the fundamental knowledge. I didn't have the basis knowledge so that I'm able to understand those things. And I didn't know the variables in terms of the vocabulary, because if it is like the Dunning-Kruger effect, then I don't fucking know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is unless I actually look it up, unless I'm just having a look at the Wikipedia page, which is something, when you're doing it, is great because you're then learning even more. It is great, and then you also understand the whole concept of the book. But you actually have to put in the work. You have to put in the work and look up all the words and see what they mean, and or all the thesis says, I don't know, and all the other statements and all the other vocabularies and factors. So let's say you and a friend are in an art museum. You see a painting you love and one that you studied in college, but you can see that your friend doesn't quite know what to make of it. You may feel tempted to explain every single thing you know about this particular work, but instead try to focus on the bigger picture. Like, okay, this is from this and this era of art history, and it is just that dark just because back in the days they just used those dark paintings or paint this dark paint, and it is so transparent just because it wasn't actually paint, but it was egg white, and all those things. Like, I think it could actually be very interesting, especially for also someone that's not really knowledgeable nor interested in just art. Which is, at my point of view, something that you can often see, that people are going to think like, well, this is not art, when there is something like, for example, some boxes, some Barilla boxes, as, for example, Andy Warhol did, putting some Barilla boxes into a fucking art museum, and then it is fucking art. And it really is art. And people are going to be like, well, this is not art, this is just some Barilla boxes. But it is art. It is what it is. It is art. And I do understand that a lot of people are not having any appreciation. Maybe they have appreciation, but maybe not that much for art. But I don't know. And I think there's also going to be people that are like, well, we do not need art in the world and whatnot. But I don't think so. I think we really need art. And I also would say that people doing their work and people doing their work that they are actually really passionate about and they are also really proud about, it is their art, and it is what they like to be doing and all those things. There's a lot of types of art, I would say, in the world, which is something that's nice, which is really something that's particularly nice. The third one, go for clarity over accuracy. When we are speaking about a subject we are very knowledgeable about, we may tend to be carried away with the impulse that get everything right, or to get everything right. Sometimes, though, an emphasis on the fact that can occur at the expense of comprehension. It is better to come up with a simple explanation that maybe isn't completely technically correct, but it gets the point across. Wellyman says, settle for establishing a basic understanding in them. If they want to know more, you can build upon that knowledge and create more complete and accurate picture. I'm leaving out a lot of words. I'm very sorry about that. But I would actually say, so yeah, getting the fundamental. As I'm just thinking about it, and as I'm just actually talking about it, I kind of feel like that having a fundamental, like the really basics of whatever you're trying to learn somebody, is just gonna be inevitable, or whatever the word is actually pronounced like, because I'm only hearing it. I think I've never ever just seen it in written form, I guess. Inevitable. Something like that, isn't it? But I'm not quite sure about that. I kind of feel like that it's probably going to be wrong, but I'm not quite sure about that, as I said. But yeah. The fourth one is explain why you think your subject is so cool. And I guess it is also one of the more important ones. Like, okay, there's 4 points. Like, all of them are going to be important, but I think it's cool. So ask yourself, why do I think this subject is so cool, or so important, or so amazing? The more you can communicate your enthusiasm to others, the more likely they are feel that way too. One way to do this is give examples that demonstrate how the subject is relevant to their lives. Because of course, if you can just tell them that it is also relevant to them, they're going to be fucking interested. If they see that they can contribute off of it by basically for free by you telling them, then they're going to be into it. They're going to be thinking about it. It's going to be great for them. It can bring it to life for them, of course. Figuring out how to best explain your subject may take trial and error, so don't get discouraged about sharing what you know. And I would also argue that the more you think about things and the more you also talk about things, the better, basically. Because in the end, you're gonna progress, you're gonna practice actually as well, and you're gonna practice to think about those things. You're practicing just speaking about those things and talking about those things, which in the end are going to result in better ways of communicating it. And it is also something that I'm seeing actually. If I'm talking about some various things over and over and over again, then I'm first of all able to communicate it in a clearer way. Just because I found the words, just because I've just understood, okay, I have to use this word and I have to use this sentence structures, because if I'm using another one, it's not going to work out. Which might be only one of my problems, since I'm not a native speaker, as you might have heard before. And it does make sense. But let's go through some Reddit questions, actually. I'm actually having the tab open, yeah. Everything is all right. Everything is nice. And so let's see. I've been going through a bunch of them already because I've already recorded the other episode for today, actually. This one's going to be for tomorrow. And yeah, it's cool. Is there a structured way to customer interviews? Like it's about marketing. We're not in marketing right now. Self-improvement. I don't know where to start. Let's see. It is a little bit of a longer one, but I'm trying to get the point. So I'm a teenager in high school, and I've recently decided that I wanted to try to improve my life and overall confidence. First of all, I'm overweight. This seems to affect me with everything because of my confidence. I hate gym because I feel people are judging me for not being as strong, and I feel like people judge me for what I eat. I don't eat super healthy, but I'm trying to put rules for myself in. My school has off-campus lunch, meaning I can go get tasty fast food whenever I want. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of a healthy fasting to see if it helps my energy levels. I would pair this with exercise, but this is where some of the problems start. I live with some judgmental people, and if they see me doing things like asking to go to the gym or anything, they will judge me and just put a lot of pressure on me. Another struggle is that I often impulsively do things like get junk food during lunch or when my family members aren't home. As they judge me for anything like that, I always regret it after and think of ways to improve. And so on and so on and so on. Something that I see, first of all, losing weight. Losing weight is actually something that's pretty simple. It is actually one of these things that's not easy, but it is really simple. And the only thing that you have to do is consuming less calories than you're burning. If you're burning a lot of calories, say by doing sports, by exercising, by going to the gym, by maybe fasting as well, since you're not going to be able to eat as much as before, then you're just going to have a caloric deficit, which is going to lead you inevitably, I guess, to losing weight. There's no way around that. Like, it is a physical thing. It is a physical thing that if you're just having, or if you are in a caloric deficit, which means that you're not consuming as much calories as you actually need, then you're gonna lose fucking weight. Because your body has to just choose something. Your body has to just get the energy from something. And in the end, it's gonna take the whole energy from your fat storages and other storages, but as far as I know, but I'm not quite sure about that, so please look it up. Please Google it. Please think about it. I also think that if there is no fat, then the body's also going to take some muscle mass and basically tear it apart and use it. But I'm really not quite sure about that. But first of all, it's definitely going to take the fat storages and then break them up and use them as energy because the body needs something. And if there's not like food or something in your guts and whatnot, then it has to use the fat. So it is basically very simple. On the other hand, I have to say that if you really care about what anybody thinks of you, then of course it's going to be not really easy. It is something that I've actually been progressing in, which is something that I've been noticing like today or something, because I'm always doing my selfies. I'm always just like outside of me, and I've kind of also just seen it with my body language. I'm just way more confident, some sort of. Just by the whole social media thing that I've been doing the past basically year, which is something that's incredible to see. It really is. And I think you all can progress in confidence by just stepping out of our comfort zone and maybe by just seeing what we're capable of and seeing what we are able to do, because we're able to do so many things, so many great things, so many things that we won't really know that we are able to do so. And it is amazing. It really fucking is amazing. So don't care about what anybody thinks of you, and if they're judging you and whatnot, like, yeah, okay, they're judging you, but they don't really have the whole context because they don't know what's going on in your head. They don't know you fully. Nobody knows you but yourself, because I think, to actually coming back to communication, I don't really think that you're able, well, you are some sort of, but I think nobody would actually be doing that. I think communicating everything about you to someone is somehow not really able. You're not really able to do so, I guess, because I think there's going to be way too much things, also things that you don't know about yourself either. So I don't know, like, nobody really knows you. Nobody knows what's going on in your head, and nobody actually has the context. And of course, people are going to judge. It is always something that is going to happen. But just because they don't know who you actually are, just because they don't know what's going on in your head, they don't, just don't take it somehow seriously. Even if it is serious, but they don't fucking know you in the whole end. Let's move ahead, because I don't want to go through some other ones. Looking to tone my body, cardio, and eating less probably. And just rope jumping is one of the things that I can really highly suggest, and it's probably going to be one of the best cardio things you can be doing, even if there is high impact, which means that the possibility of you injuring yourself is going to be relatively high compared to just swimming, for example, to just running as well. Like, it's going to be like more impact. I think I'm depressed, but I'm not sure. Hello, I'm 15 and I want to say something about me because I need help. I don't have a life. Literally, I don't feel fun. I never truly feel happy and I never actually enjoy stuff. Every day, I'm just spending my time on the PC and I can't without it, not because I'm addicted, because I have nothing else to do. I never leave my home because everything is boring outside. I barely have any feelings and I'm never horny anymore. Not a joke, I'm serious. And I don't even care about my mom or brother. I just don't know what to do. I feel like I'm in a permanent depression, but I don't feel depressed. I don't know what to do, and I want actually alive again. I want to feel alive again. I started happening around 3 years ago, give or take, please help. I hate it, and I hate living like this. And there's actually some answers there, and some comments there, and I'm gonna read them. Go to the gym, push yourself to be outside, even if you find it boring at first. Set short-term goals for yourself, try to get into some hobby that you can do with a group and have other people support you with. I really totally believe in other people and in other people helping you, because just having other people around is always nice and it's always good and it's always just gonna help and it's always gonna be better than just being alone. It's like inevitable. Maybe I shouldn't be using so many words that I actually don't know what they mean. Maybe this is a good thing to change, I guess. But there's so many good things outside. I do understand that the computer and the PC and the phone and the internet is a place that's pretty cool, and it is pretty cool. Like there's a lot of stuff to just have a look at. There's a lot of things to think about, and there's a lot of things to watch, you know, YouTube and other shit and whatnot. But there's a lot of great shit outside, you know, especially when you kind of think about traveling. Like there's a lot of fucking good shit. And also doing sports, just riding your bike, seeing nature, being in nature, seeing crazy fucking things. It is nice. Like probably one of the reasons why I like to just ride my bike, because I'm actually able to consume a lot of real life as fast as I possibly can. Because I don't really like, just walking around is also something that I've been doing quite for some time, you know. And also running, but I've had to stop just because it's now really freezing cold outside, and which is actually really bad. Like I've actually had the habit of always running after I've had my workout, but it's a little bit fucked up, you know, because I'm a little bit afraid of losing all the cardio again and all the energy, some sort of as well again. But there's a lot of great shit outside, and I don't know, I kind of feel like, as I'm just thinking about it, it does just really seem like there's no really purpose in this person's life or in your life if you're actually kind of watching this, which might be the case, you know? But I'm not quite sure about that. So if there's no real goal and if there's no real purpose in your life, of course, you're gonna just live. And you're gonna live just day after day, time after time, whether it is day, minute, second, whatever, therefore I'm saying time. And it's just gonna be a drag, basically, as well. And it's just gonna feel like, well, you're just passing time. Like you're not, I don't know, like there's a difference between letting time pass and just using your time, some sort of, basically. I've just heard something like that. And yeah, have a goal. Search for a goal. Search for something that you can pursue. Search for something that can push you, basically. Whether it be actually the gym, as somebody else also suggested, whether it be building something, whether it be another hobby as riding horseback, archery on riding horseback, which is actually something that is available. I don't know if it is available in your country, but it is in general available. The thing is, you have to have a goal. This is kind of the conclusion there, at least as how I think about it. And I'm practicing. I really am practicing helping people, I guess. And I'm also on Reddit just trying to communicate with people, trying to help them. And of course, there's going to be some situations where you're not able to help. And there have been just 2 major things that or was it 1? No, I think it's been 2. Where I've actually been able to help somebody, and it feels so amazing. And I think this is also one of the reasons why I'm still having the podcast. Like actually, I've gained 3 subscribers the last 2 days, and it's just amazing. I'm so fucking grateful for that. Like I really feel so. I really am thankful for that, and to see that people may be enjoying what I'm putting on. People may be enjoying what I'm talking about, and it might also be some sort of value for them. And if it is actually the case, then it is really nice. It really is fucking nice, because it's a lot of work that I'm putting into it, but it's also a lot of fun and also a lot of passion and heart that I'm trying to put into it. The last question: is taking control bad? So this is going to be the end of the episode. I'm having to end the episode. I'm sorry. So if you just is taking control bad, I wouldn't necessarily say so, because having control is always good. Just because everyone wants to be in control. And if you're not in control, then somebody else is in control. And it just leads to somebody else just saying what you're having to do, which is something that some people like to have, and some people don't like to have. And those people that actually really hate it, they're going to be entrepreneurs, and they're going to be some people that are just maybe also going to be freelancers, which is actually the exact same thing, just some slight differences there. And, well, it depends on how you think about it. But I don't necessarily think that it is something bad, as with a lot of things. Like, a lot of things have good sides, and a lot of things also have bad sides or downsides. But yeah, this is going to be the end of the episode. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. I really hope that you've liked it. And I'm going to see you the next time. So I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered. So basically, your legacy. 3 other questions that I'm having for you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? And these 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, since a lot of companies started out with solving something that really pissed them off in the first place. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So bye.